At a recent event hosted by producer Kevin Feige, we got a glimpse into Marvel Cinematic Universe's third phase of films, in which we get to see a lineup from now all the way up until May 2019. And before I go on to the announcements, I certainly have to say one thing that I've observed that a lot of people might not have taken note to just as yet is that Ant-Man, releasing July 17, 2015, in fact seems to be a part of Phase 2 and not Phase 3 as I had earlier imagined. Now, on May 6, 2016, we have Captain America Civil War, which was first called Captain America Serpent Society when it was initially announced, and then that title was changed, of course, to Civil War. And this will chronicle the Civil War storyline in the comic books, of course, wherein Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark will ultimately undertake this act that would have superheroes register with the government, and he will side with it and support it and use his power to do so, whereas other heroes like Captain America will be against the Superhero Registration Act in order to protect the identity of several superheroes. And I certainly have to say that the fact that Anthony and Joe Russo, the directors of Captain America the Winter Soldier, and Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, the writers of that film, are all returning for the third Captain America film, something that makes me incredibly optimistic. Then on November 4, 2016, we have Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, of course, relates to a particular surgeon who in an accident injures his arms and they are therefore unusable, but then manages to attain mystical powers with which he can work with his arms again, and ultimately that brings about an interesting complexity of the character, of course, something I'm interested in seeing. And we don't necessarily have official confirmation as to who is playing the character. While earlier rumors suggested that Joaquin Phoenix would be Doctor Strange, currently the way it seems to be is that Benedict Cumberbatch will be taking on the titular role. And then the next film seems to be shrouded in a certain amount of secrecy. There's Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out on May 5, 2017. We have no idea with regards to what the film is going to be about. In fact, the logo itself was the logo of the original film with the number 2 and the date changed on it. So there is the possibility of a Planet Hulk film with relation to Guardians of the Galaxy, but at the same time, it's still too early to assume where we're going to go just as yet. And then on July 28, 2017, we have the third Thor film, Thor Ragnarok, which is in reference to a particular clone of Thor that is made that is in fact evil. Some say that Ultron may ultimately forge Ragnarok. While I certainly do not see that happening, the possibility certainly exists, and I definitely have to say that it's interesting to see Thor getting a July release. And the fact of the matter is, we now have, for the first time, 3 films coming out in a particular year that are produced by Marvel Studios, because their next film comes out on November 3rd, 2017, and that is Black Panther. And they introduced actor Chadwick Boseman, who has starred in such films as 42, who will be portraying the titular character of Black Panther, of course. And while there have been hints and several Easter eggs here and there within earlier Marvel films such as Iron Man and Iron Man 2, we are now finally getting this character almost 10 years later. Furthermore, in the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer, we do get to witness a brief glimpse of Andy Serkis, who is set to portray a character called Ulysses Claw, a villain in fact in the Black Panther universe, and there are several other ties with regards to Wakanda and Vibranium in that film that could lead into Black Panther as well. And there has been official confirmation that Black Panther will in fact appear in Captain America Civil War before in his own film. And then in 2018, May 4, 2018 in fact, we have Avengers Infinity War Part 1, which I will get into the details of when I address Part 2. July 6, 2018, we have Captain Marvel, and it's been confirmed by Kevin Feige himself that it will be the iteration of female Carol Danvers, thereby bringing about a female standalone film, something that fans have certainly yearned for. At the same time, I'm interested in witnessing the ultimate take with regards to the tone that they undertake, especially for this character. And on November 2nd, 2018, once again marking the third film that will be released in the year 2018, will be The Inhumans, which is basically a race of various superhumans that live on an island called Attilan, and I'm really interested in seeing where this film is going to come from, considering the fact that there is no official confirmation on a director or writer. There's not a whole lot that we could personally say just as yet. At the same time, I'm enjoying seeing the fact that Marvel is branching out and undertaking various different new titles such as Black Panther or Doctor Strange. And then finally, on May 3rd, 2019, Avengers Infinity War Part 2, which will mark the culmination of a 20-film journey leading into the 21st, that is Avengers Infinity War Part 2. And of course, there was a teaser trailer that did display the fact that Thanos will get a hand on various different Infinity Stones or Infinity Gems as they're known, and ultimately cause this giant, almost gargantuan size of a battle that I believe will be, of course, against the Avengers. Now, there are certainly a few things to take note of. First off, when they were displaying this teaser trailer, we did get to witness not 3, but in fact 4 of the Infinity Gems, one which people weren't sure about just as yet. Of course, we know of the Tesseract and the Ether and even the Power Gem that we observed as the orb in Guardians of the Galaxy, and now it's pretty much been confirmed by this teaser trailer that Loki's staff is a gem as well. And I'm really interested in seeing the 9 films coming out in Phase 3 and the various different storylines that they will undertake, considering the fact that we have a Captain America film and a Thor film as we've had in Phase 1 and Phase 2, but then there are so many other new characters and various different undertakings that the film is going to undertake with regards to Civil War, of course Black Panther I'm interested in seeing. People are happy about the fact that they're branching out in terms of diversity, something always good to see. At the same time, the potential of where they're going, they're undertaking a far more cosmic approach, especially between Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2, and I want to see how Captain Marvel and Inhumans that occur between those two films in fact play into the greater universe, considering the fact that they almost fall in the middle of a particular story. And long story short, my expectations of course are through the roof at this point, but nonetheless my enthusiasm is just the same. Avengers Age of Ultron is coming out next year, and that will certainly mark a great turn in the universe alone, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the Marvel Cinematic Universe takes us next.